President Trump will be joined by the First Lady in the East Room for an executive order signing aimed at expanding opportunities for education, career development, housing, and other resources for young people transitioning from foster care to adulthood. This is part of
the White House announcing a new executive order being signed today to expand resources for teenagers aging out of the foster care system. It's part of First Lady Melania Trump's Be Best agenda called the Fostering the Future Initiative. I want to bring in someone who actually had firsthand experience in that system. It's Charell Star, now the vice president of New York City's chapter of CASA, and also author of the book Trash Bag Tales. Charell, thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you just begin by telling us a little bit about what it was like being a foster child growing up, and giving us also an idea of what it's like for other foster kids out there at this time.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me, Alex. Growing up in foster care and spending time in foster care is extremely difficult. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever been through, including, being removed from my home at a very young age and bouncing around to different homes. It is very dehumanizing, and you feel so very alone. And so the youth who are going through that currently are still feeling those moments of abandonment, of feeling very alone and not knowing why they're in foster care. And so it's just a very scary time. It's a time that they need people around them to be supportive, and they don't get that. And so being in foster care is just a terrible sort of experience for youth in care. And we've got around 400,000 youth who experience foster care every year.
Yeah, I was going to say nearly 500,000 foster kids that are out there that are going through this experience that you're detailing for us. Tell me a little bit about what you think about First Lady Melania Trump and President Trump's executive order. Do you see that as being something that will benefit these kids at this time?
So I hope so. We're still waiting to hear exactly what's going to be in that executive order. But obviously, any focus, any attention on the needs of youth who are aging out of care. Around 20,000 youth age out of care every year, and they age out. Around 50% of them end up homeless. So any awareness, any push to actually help these youth actually gain stability, not end up homeless, have stability in their lives is really important, and something that I support.
What do you think is the reason that that is such a common outcome for these foster care kids? Is it something that has to do with the homes that they're being placed in, the foster homes, so to speak? Is it sort of just the mental health of these children that are going through these trials and tribulations throughout their teenage years?
It's a combination of factors. So you hit on a few of them. Yes, it's the trauma of being in foster care. It's the lack of support. It's the mental health services that they do not get. Around 30 to 40% of youth in foster care suffer from PTSD, and that's at higher rates than our veteran population. And it's because being in foster care and having this experience is so traumatic to youth, and we have not provided services to this population to ensure that they're able to thrive once they leave care. And so again, it's a combination of factors that we have to attack and sort of find solutions for.
Look, you have risen to a prominent role. You are now an outspoken advocate for these children. Clearly, you are a success story, and we're thankful for that, no doubt about that. Tell me a little bit about sort of your experience in terms of finding that success and how you can pass on that advice to the 400,000 other foster kids that are out there in America.
What I always say is, I made it through foster care and able to have a successful life because I had people who didn't give up on me, people who were willing to pour into me, people like, I personally didn't have a CASA, but I had mentors along the way who were willing to make that investment or give me a chance. And so what I would say to youth in care is you have to trust someone. You have to be willing to, be open to having someone help you and support you, because it's being able to survive out in the community on your own is very difficult. And so being open to having that sort of support is very important, and being willing to, push yourself and go after the things you want is also very important.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.